Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next perfect step, where all possibilities lie in conversation. I'm your co-host, Laurie Mullen.
And I'm your co-host, Laurie Tremblay. Welcome to today's episode. You might notice we have a little bit different background because we have a new subject today. Laurie, would you like to introduce this?
Yeah, so I'd like you to, not only do we have new backgrounds, but we are going to change things up. We're going to do things differently. Me and Laurie have decided to move forward in a completely different way, and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we're really excited about it. So we'll still have guests on, but me and Laurie are going to start really, as people started asking us why we started this channel, it was because of our expansive conversations, right? We just loved this, new thought process, new way of thinking that we had never thought of before and exploring it. And that's what we really want to do. We want to start exploring thought. So we've have a subject we're going to start with, and we've already realized that this has opened up rabbit holes of thought and conversation. So we probably have about 6 months worth of conversation off of one topic. And we not only want you to hear our conversation and new ways of thinking, but we want to start having you be a part of that conversation. So every 4 episodes, on the 4th episode, we are going to have a roundtable. We are going to invite people in to just sit and have the conversation about what thoughts they have brought up, what meanings have been brought up by listening to the conversations. And so that you're not only just hearing me and Laurie's expansive and new thoughts, but that we're hearing everybody's. So we can explore new thoughts and ideas that just don't come from me and Laurie, that come from you too. So we're really excited about this new process. Laurie, is there anything else that I missed or that you want to add?
No, I'm just excited about the roundtable opportunities so that we can have you on the podcast with us. And we want to have a conversation with you and what your ideas are. So this is an exciting way for us to connect with you more. And we'd just like to hear your comments, your questions, your ideas.
Yeah, great. So we're going to start by opening up this new thought process. Laurie and I, as we've talked about before, are avid explorers of the thoughts and connection of Bashar. And Laurie's going to explain a little bit about who he is, where he comes from. And he has done a workshop called The Echoes of Sedona, and in Sedona, Arizona. And we both listened. It was a 2.5 hour I don't know if you want to call it a lecture, but a channeling. And we're going to explore what it was about and what aha moments came up for me and Laurie. Really, absolutely. I called Laurie. I was excited. It it was a new way of thinking. I had never thought about the subject before, ever. So the subject that we're going to start with is ET open contact. Now, whether you believe or don't believe, this is a fascinating conversation, one that needs to be explored. So I'm going to let Laurie introduce it a little bit first, and then we'll go on together about our thoughts and process.
Sure. So Bashar is channeled by Darryl Anka, and he has been channeling Bashar for about 40 years. He is the first contact specialist. He is an extraterrestrial, and he's a part of the interstellar. Oh goodness, what was that? The interstellar. I wrote it down.
Galactic Council.
Thank you. Yes. So they have a council, and their message to us is that open contact is imminent within 5 years, which means that we will be seeing extraterrestrials, and we will be reacting with them, interacting with them rather. and they are coming with a purpose of being benevolent, helping us also, being in our communities and that sort of thing. So this was a very, I don't know of a lot of people that are aware of it, but uh, extraterrestrials have been around for many years and been in contact with indigenous peoples, for example. They've helped people in Egypt. So there's just some societies like the Western society, perhaps, that is not familiar with being in contact with them. Although just recently on November 13th, we had UFO hearings and the government, which were talking about having contact with the ETs and that they have been in contact with our scientists and government for years. And there are many things that will be revealed to us that we weren't aware of. So,
Yeah, and so we're going to explore what that means to us in all aspects of the way. Ramifications, what that looks like, our why we even want that or don't want that. I don't think at this point it's so much whether we're discussing the belief. If you don't believe, don't, you're not going to be here to watch anyway. We're at a point where we can't possibly think that the Earth is the center of an entire galaxy and world, like a universe, right? So, what it looks like for each person and what your beliefs are around what it will look like for open contact. Bashar talked about, originally he had said that we were going to have contact in the next year or two. And then there was an experiment and found that due to our reaction to the election, not the result of the election, but our reaction to the election, that we were not ready for contact and that it would be put out for up to another 5 years, that it was coming no matter what, but that we may need a little bit longer to adjust to our reactions. I don't know, Laurie, do you want to say anything more about the actual what he said in the workshop before we really go into like what it brought up for us?
very well, he was talking about that the masculine energies and the feminine energies, which the masculine energies, which would lead more towards conflict, the feminine energies, which would lead more towards peace. And so we need to get in balance with them. And he was saying we need to really communicate with each other, talk to each other, find out who we are, no matter what side of the fence you're on, what religion, whatever differences we might have on the surface. We all have some commonalities inside of us. We all need to be loved. We all need to know that we're worthy. We all want to be heard. So finding the commonalities between us is very important going forward, according to Bashar and the council, that we need to learn how to get along. And this has been going on for so many years. It's not a new thing as far as conflict, right, Laurie? It's been going on forever.
Yeah, we see it as new. Like, we think our world is in total chaos. But as I was saying to Laurie, like, my husband was just watching a show on the JFK assassination. And I wasn't really paying attention. I was doing something else, and something caught my attention. And I heard the gentleman, they were interviewing an older gentleman, probably in 50s or 60s, that was there at the parade. And he was crying. And he said, this has happened because we are in such conflict. We can't get along with one another. We're on different sides of the fence. We can't have conversation. We can't agree on anything. We're battling each other. This has happened because we're so divided. It was like a light bulb to me. I was like, we could be saying that right now. If one of our presidents was assassinated, somebody could come out and use those exact words. We are no different. than other times behind. We're not worse or less. I think we're seeing more, and I think a lot of that has to do with how much access we have to the world, right? We back in the 60s, we didn't have our cell phones and stuff like that, where we are able to see and hear everybody, right? So I think it's new to us, but I don't think we're any worse than past. What we need to do is find a different way forward. Right? We can't keep going like this. Yeah, just because I'm saying we're no worse, that this has been going on. I mean, think back in the Roman times. Think back to Genghis Khan. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Where people just went and wiped out whole nations. Like we're really not worse than the Romans. Like sending people into rings to be mauled by tigers. I mean, we don't, thank God we don't do that anymore. Like, are we really worse off than that? I'm not saying in some aspects we're worse, but I'm just saying we don't need to compare where we are to where we've been, or we need to find a new way forward to where we're going.
Absolutely. And I think a big part of that is having the conversations, and also just communicating with each other with love and with compassion, finding our similarities. What we're all the same, really. We all need to be understood, to be listened to be heard. So all of that is important going forward. And Bashar also was talking about, just learning how to balance our feminine and masculinity from within, finding acceptance, love, and connection with each other.
Yeah, it's, so I think this is exciting about kind of this series that we're going to do. One of the series we will do is what feminine and masculine energy is. So Laurie kind of said feminine was peace and masculine was conflict. And for me, and she's right, there's an aspect of that. And there's an aspect to me where feminine is creativity and masculine is in action. So it's creating something, and then the masculine is putting it into form. So we need to explore all aspects of what it is, because it is all of those things. It's both all of what we said and more. And we also need to hear from everybody. Like, I want to know what your definition is, so that we can all talk about it and come to a consensus of what we want it to be and how we get into balance. Because we can't be so we'll go down this subject again. I can really go off, but for me, like, we think that we're feminine because we are going on these marches and we're standing up for feminine energy, and yet we're actually in masculine energy because we're in battle mode. We're not standing up and fighting for feminine energy. We're actually standing in masculine energy because we're battling. So how can we balance that to get the outcome we want? There's a reason that we're fighting. And I'm not saying that that's good or bad, or that we should or shouldn't be doing that. I'm saying we need to find the balance and figure out for everybody how to move forward to get what we want in a different way. And that's what these discussions and conversations are going to lead us towards.
Right. And by doing those conversations, by, no matter what, talking to, just like not being afraid to have conversations with people that don't agree with you, or don't have you're not in their political party or their religion. It doesn't matter. We're so caught up in all that right now. But really what we need to, hopefully what we're going to try to do all together, all of us, is to find those common grounds, to find the parts of us that are the same, that do need to be heard, and to listen with compassion. And no matter what someone's, behavior is, to look deeper, to look underneath all of that other things that don't really matter to their soul that does matter, and to find that way to connect with each other, and to find the way to move forward together, not apart, not fighting, but taking each other's hand and going forth. That's going to take some work, and that's going to take some time, but it has to happen. It has to be attempted anyways.
Absolutely. And and my hope is that we create a new way of having conversations. We have to find a new way of creating conversation. And like Laurie said, so that everybody is heard. We don't all have to come with the same beliefs, but we can all stay in space where we're all heard and can explore the thoughts to maybe connect to a singular goal, which would be awesome. And that's the key to new conversation, is that we find a common ground and we don't get stuck in our own beliefs, right? So we don't come to the conversation and say, I believe in this, and I stop. I hear what the other person is saying, but I'm not open to explore the idea enough for it to evolve into a new common ground.
What would you say the common ground would be? Or some of the things that could be common ground?
I can't say what the common ground is, because then I would only be giving you what my belief is right now. But as we have conversation and I hear and explore other people's beliefs and thoughts and mix with my own, like we've talked about before. So we're coming to a group, let's say 5 different people and 5 different beliefs. So there's 5 different paths. And that's all we see. We first only see our path. Then now we're open to see that there's 5 paths. And then there's 2 behind us we didn't even know existed. I want the 5 paths to come together to find a common ground, to see the 2 paths behind us that we didn't even know existed. That's the goal of new conversation. Not me convincing you my way or my thoughts is the best way, but to open up paths we didn't know existed. That's the common ground for me.
And Bashar said something similar to that about the trains, that we're on different trains, we're in different perceptions, we have different realities. But say there's 2 trains, and then there's meeting together in the middle is one train track that we can come together with. Is that your understanding of what he's
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that all of us can come together and see the track we didn't know that was even there, right? Yeah. So, and that's amazing. I love exploring ideas and thinking new ways and exploring that. And so this is really exciting for me. I'm really looking forward to these conversations.
Me too. I see your background as a cosmic background. You're a cosmic explorer.
You too. We are all fellow travelers.
So another thing that Bashar mentioned is there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of, that we will be made aware of through open contact when we actually get to meet fellow cosmic family, which I think is super exciting. I'm really excited about it. And that they said, don't let yourself be afraid, because this is a very positive move where it's this time. I mean, like you said, Laurie, Earth is not the only place there is in the universe. We have many, many in our family, our cosmic family. I would love to meet them, and just to see where we go.
Yes. So, before I share my thoughts on what we heard about open contact, do you want to share your thoughts about what came up for you when you talked about how he said we're going to be seeing things that we've never seen before. This subject opened up a whole new thought process that I had never thought of before. And it got me really excited to explore something I had never even thought to think before and explore. So we're going to share our thoughts with you. And then next week, we're going to explore those thoughts. So I'm very excited. But Laurie, do you want to share your thoughts?
Sure. I guess I'm feeling hopeful because I feel like this is obviously a whole new, um, we have all heard that we're going into a new age. And this is definitely facilitating that. And to be able to meet and explore with our cosmic family, and also to explore how we feel about that. I mean, how are we going to react to that? There's going to be probably a lot of different types of reactions. And that's why Bashar is saying, let's talk about this, get it out in the open, have this conversation. How do you feel? What do you want? What do you want to see for your future? What do you want to see for your children? There's just going to be a lot of changes going that we've never ever seen before or thought of. And I think it's very exciting. I think we all know that the light is coming in. We've been accelerated as far as our spiritual growth. And I think this is a good time to use that to our advantage, to be able to center ourselves, to find what we believe, why we believe it, what do we want, what are our dreams, how can we connect, how can we keep moving forward together. So it is good for you. Very exciting time. And I'm sure there's a lot of adventures ahead. And Bashar also says that no matter what happens, it's not important what happens, but your reaction to what happens. And that can be only from the work that you do inside. That's where that comes from. How prepared can you be? How peaceful can you be? How joyful can you be? All of those things haven't changed. Just be more so and be not to yourself as much anymore as reach out to each other.
Yeah, great thoughts. So when I listened, I wrote down, I had like this light bulb thought process that, like I said, I had never even thought of before. So I wrote it all down, and I just like to read it as it is, as it came to me. ET contact. As I just heard, we as a group, as I just heard, we as a group, ET contact, but why? Once we know they are here and see them, they are going to be a part of our society. Not good or bad, just I feel there is a part I had not thought of, such as our politics. They'll be a part of everything, our politics, our money, our society, our education, all of it. Are we going to give our power away to them because they are these beings we put on pedestals? Are we going to believe they know better than we do? Do we believe their only agenda is our well-being, that they don't have their own agenda? Yes, they will come with advanced technology, but will this bring us to feel less than them? We have our work to do together for the greatest joy of all, to create a world of unity. Our lesson in this. We have the answers and the knowledge. We do not hand over our power again because we want something or someone to fix us or our world, because we don't want to do the work or believe we don't have the knowledge or the strength to do it ourselves. What purpose are we creating this experience? How are we giving it meaning? What are our whys of why we want ET contact? Once the ETs come and show themselves, do we just all say, see, I told you, they're here, they exist, they're real, and then we think they're going to fly away? Like, there is so much more I never even thought of. Like, what is the next step? And what does that mean? And what is it that we want? What are our whys for wanting them here? If your only why is to prove that they really exist, then they're only here for a second and they're gone. What happens next? What are your next thoughts about then what? And why? I have so much to say on this statement that I wrote and the exploration of thought that it created in me. Those were just kind of the questions I wanted to ask myself in my thought process of hearing this. And I can't wait till next week to explore all those thoughts with you. So I hope you join us so that you can hear and explore with us all the different rabbit holes and directions and exploration of thought that what we came up with together and our own separate conversations and thoughts will lead to. So I hope that you have enjoyed this, and I hope you will enjoy our new format as much as we are really excited about it and look forward to the roundtables and the new exploration of thought we have. So if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, how is your intuition leading you to the next perfect step?